I'm Brick Road, welcome back to Let's Play Hoo-Ha-Wah! Tonight's Maverick, Frost Walrus. Walrus is the last of the 8 Mavericks, and his level, the Snow Base, is one of the more intricate stages in X4. For one, it's one of the few levels that features multiple paths. The upper path here is only very slightly hidden, and it's the one you want to take because it features a 1-up and a whole gaggle of energy capsules. One feature that's been pretty much constant throughout the X series is the way your sub-tanks work. Unlike classic Mega Man, whose energy tanks were consumable, X and Zero's sub-tanks are reusable and refillable. Pick up an energy capsule when you already have full health, and the overflow goes into one of your sub-tanks. Neat trick, right? Short digression, yes, you need the fire attack to get this heart tank, which is why we came here last. Okay, so because sub-tanks aren't consumable, the designers had to think of a way X and Zero could fill them quickly, much in the same way classic Mega Man can farm for E-tanks. What they came up with is to put a spot in one of the Maverick stages that consistently and quickly spawned large energy capsules. A single visit to Walrus's level between Fortress stages is all you need to come packing 2 full sub-tanks. It's nice when the dev team throws you a bone, isn't it? At the top of this wall is the X-Tank, the most useless item in the whole X series. All it does is lets you start with 4 lives instead of 2 when you continue. Pretty pointless in a game with infinite continues as it is. The most irritating part of this stage is this area here with the rising ice platforms. It looks like I could have dashed left on that first platform rather than stood by and waited for it, but I assure you I couldn't have. If I'd have tried it, I would have been crushed and lost a life. Spotty hit detection is a side effect of the higher res sprites used in the 32-bit games compared to the older 16-bit ones. To its credit, X4 does its level best to avoid making this too glaringly obvious, which is a consideration its younger brothers X5 and X6 didn't even bother giving us. This sub-boss illustrates that weakness a little bit. Zero's fire attack slashes up and slightly forward, so if you use it on an enemy that's moving towards you, it results in you taking damage. You can avoid this by aiming your attack at the place in front of the monster, but that's not very intuitive. At that point, you're no longer playing Mega Man X, but a much less satisfying game called Guess the Hitboxes. The player isn't supposed to be able to see the hitboxes. That's why we have all this pretty artwork of red girly robots and adorable hard hat guys. It's just wrong when you can look at a game and see the seams, you know? Anyway, up ahead, frozen in some ice, is the weapon tank, which works like a sub-tank except for weapon energy. Believe it or not, this item is more useful for Zero than it is for X, since it's so helpful in the Storm Owl rematch later on. One last thing to notice about the Snow Base, the second area's music is different from the first. Actually, the 2 halves of this stage are more dissimilar than any other Maverick level. The multiple paths, the blizzard which suddenly rages and subsides, the ice block and skiing gimmick sections, heck even the sheer length. This one level seems to have higher production values all around than the average of the rest of the game. I wonder if there was a place in X4's development where all 8 levels were supposed to have been built to this standard. I wonder if at one time even the super linear levels like the Marine Base and Military Train were supposed to have more to them. I wonder if that part of the budget got cut so we could have cheesy anime cutscenes. I just made myself sad. Frost Walrus then. The first thing you'll notice about Walrus is his sheer size. He is the grand poobah of those hitbox problems I mentioned earlier. Knowing what parts of Walrus's gargantuan frame will damage you and which parts won't is definitely the biggest challenge in this fight. The second thing you'll notice is that he has a weakness, the Fire Slash. And again, this has to be done from a very particular distance, lest Zero end the move inside Walrus's hitbox and trade hits with him. After being lit on fire, Walrus will slide back and forth across the room. Zero cannot clear Walrus's entire sprite with a double jump or an air dash, so again it's a matter of knowing which sections of the sprite are safe to touch. As a general rule, Walrus's outer extremities are safe, while his center mass is not. I'm sure there are grandmasters out there who can count the pixels, but I just have to content myself with eyeballing it. That means sometimes I take unfair hits in what should be an absolutely pushover fight. Actually, it's been so long since I've played this game as X, I can't even remember how he's supposed to clear a jump over Walrus's slide. Is X even in this game? Walrus's sword technique is a long Japanish word that means downward ice attack. This attack has some pretty cool properties we'll get to explore in later boss fights. More importantly, that's the end of the 8 Maverick stages. I'll see you back here in the next video when we start taking on the Sigma stages. I'm excited. Are you excited? I'm excited.